What's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85. Tonight with us, our guest Paul Ragsdale, who's a director, writer, producer, such films as Cinco de Mayo, Streets of Vengeance, Murdercise, and coming soon, which we'll get into later, Only Fangs, which you've been working on. So that'll be fun to get into in a bit. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
So before we get into all that, just wanted to ask a little about yourself, where you grew up, and what some of your inspirations were to get into the business.
I grew up in Central California, here in Modesto, California. And, I've just been a movie fan, growing up, just watching monster movies and making monster movies on our little high 8 camera. And that's something I always did with my cousins and my brother. And then just carried on to high school, making wrestling videos and stuff with my friends. And then, just carried on into taking multimedia classes and then finally going to junior college, taking film classes there. And that's where I met Angie, where I fell in love. We're a couple. And so we make movies together. So we're a writer, producer, directors. We're a filmmaking team. So since then, we've been making films together for about 12 years or so.
Okay. Yeah, I was checking out your Internet Movie Database. I guess you were did a whole bunch of shorts. I was going to ask you. I should have asked you maybe where we could check those out. Some of your shorts. What was it here? I had it brought up here. Let's see. If you want to talk about those, I'm sorry, I forgot the titles offhand. If you want to tell us how you got started in that and what inspires you, I mean, besides the movies, how do you get your ideas and what topics do you choose to write about?
Really, it just comes from just being a fan of movies themselves. I mean, that's really the best inspiration for anyone. I mean, that's how I do it. I mean, if I start watching a lot of French New Wave movies, then eventually I'm going to make one, which we did. We made a couple of them, a short film called After the Affair, more of like an Italian New Wave movie, and then Rough Cut, which is like a French New Wave kind of romantic comedy kind of thing. And I also watch a lot of Narco, Mexican action movies. So we ended up making one as well called La Soldadera. So those two are actually features and not short films. But it just comes from just listening to, or not listening to, but it's like listening to music, like whatever you listen to at the time just gets into your brain and you start thinking, hey, I want to make something like that, so that's how movies are for us. I just start watching 80s horror movies or 80s aerobic slasher movies. There's not that many of them, but I like them so much that I said, hey, I want to try my hand at one. I want to be involved and participate and make another one. That's how Murdercise happened. So yeah, it's just from watching movies and just getting on a kick.
Just be like, I want to do this. That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. And just
here it goes.
into it. Yeah, just researching it and the genre.
Yeah, of course. I was looking here. Let's see. I like Masochist and Mass. Do you have like a certain channel or any way we can watch that?
Those aren't my short films. Those are the films that I shot. I did cinematography work for my brother, Matthew, who's also a filmmaker as well. So those are his. He directed those music videos.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Attack of the Killer UFOs.
Yeah, it's his as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like you said, your brother is in. Has he made any other films besides the shorts as well, or not yet?
He did some films and in film school, but he hasn't done much film work outside of film school. Most he's just been doing music videos, and I think most recently he started working on a couple of short films with his girlfriend. So they're starting to do their own thing right now.
Okay. So do you plan like doing any more music videos, and do you like combining the horror genre with the music?
Well, like again, those aren't my music videos. I didn't write them or direct them. They're Matthew's. He just brought me on just to shoot.
So that's not anything that you would consider doing. That's you just want to stick with like the slashers, or I didn't know if you were like wanted to get involved in your own there. So
I mean, ever since I started doing feature films, it's just been kind of that. I really haven't looked back since doing features. So music videos, I mean, yeah, if something comes up, I mean, if Matthew needs me to shoot it, then I'll shoot it. He's been doing his own stuff, but shooting music videos is how I met a few actresses from shooting his videos. I met
Mhm.
Adriana Shishiba from one of his music videos, and I ended up using her in Murdercise, and now she's in Only Fangs. So yeah, it's a good way to network. But as far as myself, shooting music videos, no, I really haven't done much on my. I haven't done none on my own.
Mhm. Yeah, I notice how you use a lot of the same actors in your movies. Well, a lot of like film directors do that. Like I know Mark Polonia and a bunch of other actors do it.
Mhm.
I guess once you start like working with someone, it's kind of like you're used to working them and kind of a good film family, I guess you could say, huh?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely like that idea. It's something we've definitely carried over throughout our films. You meet someone good, you want to keep them around, and if you have something for them, then you want to put them in the movie. Sometimes, I mean, it might end up you might have nothing for them, but with no hard feelings, you just use them next time. But more
Yeah.
often than not, yeah, I like to work with people over again. And of course, we definitely love to find new faces. I mean,
Oh, of course.
I didn't know, I never worked with Jessa or Kansas before, so they were completely new. Adriana's completely new for Murder Size. So yeah, yeah, after a while, yeah, you want to mix the veterans and with the newbies.
Mm-hmm. So when you work with Angie and everything, sometimes you might clash on ideas, or how is it working together and coming up with the ideas and deaths or concepts?
Mhm.
How is that working together on
Yeah,
that?
normally, I have, I'm the writer, so I'll write the script. I'll come up with the idea. She didn't really get to watch horror movies as a kid. It was her mom didn't allow her to, so she doesn't have that horror movie background. So I have that. So I'll bring things to the table and I'll write it out. And she's more on the producing side, and she definitely helps with the costuming and everything like that. But like when it comes to like the story, she helps me with editing because it's like I'll think of something really crazy that we might not be able to do, and she'll bring it down to to ground level to reality. That's how she helps me. If I come up with something like early on in the days, I came up with like a guy getting his head kicked off or something. It's like, well, we really can't do that at our level, so let's see if we can come up with a different solution. So should we, that's what filmmaking is. You just come up with solutions and work problems and things you write. You may not have the means to do it, so we got to come up with a creative solution around this problem. It's all about problem solving. So she's really good at that. So I'm definitely grateful to have her on my side. So when things get to a head where it's like, okay, how are we going to pull this off? She's smart, she's resourceful, and that's how we get everything done. I mean, without her, I wanted to quit on my first film. It's like, man, this is too fucking hard. And she was like, no, you can't. You can't quit. We got to finish it no matter what. So she taught me that very, very valuable lesson. Like you always finish, what you start. And
Mhm.
we've been doing that ever since.
Yeah. So, what would you say? Well, I know you said she's good with helping and the problem solving. With all the practical effects and stuff that can go on during sets, what's been the most challenging for you to try to get done?
With the practical effects.
Yeah, or anything on set there. Mhm.
Oh, I mean, filmmaking, there's just so much that can go wrong. You're trying to line everything up, so that's lining people's schedules, that's lining up the location that you're going to use, the cinematographer, food, place where people can go and rest. Make sure you have enough water and snacks on set. It's just all of that stuff we do ourselves. So that is probably the most difficult. And then after all that's done, then you got to shoot. Then you have to talk to cinematographer. Then you got to have your shot list. That stuff's the easy part. But the
Mhm.
hard part is getting everything lined up. Getting all the scheduling together and getting everybody there in one place at one time. And it's such a risky, precarious situation that anything can go wrong. It's like Jenga. You pull out one little piece and everything just falls down. And
Mhm.
with Only Fangs, that almost happened. I mean, like the day that we had like three people coming in to California from outside of California, flights, was
Mhm.
the day of that glitch that made all the airports just shut down. So we had people who were in, I mean, Drew, he was in Vegas and he was stuck there for like 6 hours. And we had Ellie. She was coming from Atlanta, and she was stuck for even longer than that. So we had so many people just like we didn't know if the movie was going to happen. Just to give a preview of talking about Only Fangs, but it's stuff like that that you just don't know. Anything can go wrong. So that's the most like anxious part, especially when you have flights and people coming in from out of state. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, the flights are crazy.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing Camp Blood 9, like the last shot, my flight was like early, like late in the morning, like 1 or 2 o'clock or like something like that. And like some stuff had to change. Like some different shots were added after Butch Patrick came in and everything. Well, you know how shots can be changed and decide, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I think I ended up going to the airport like at 3 a.m. right after the last shot. It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then I've seen, I think it was Meredith. I saw. I think it might have been after she was filming, but she was saying how she was like stuck at the airport or something too, waiting for her.
Yeah, that was a freak incident. Yeah, we dropped her off. She was on time. Everything was good to go. And then while she's in the airport, she lost her ID. And
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, she put like a whole story on. It's like, oh my god, like we literally just left you there. You were fine. Everything's great. And then I think she got like harassed by like a TSA agent or something. What she was wearing, and she lost her ID, and so you can't get on a plane without an ID, and so yeah, it was a whole
it's crazy. I can't stand airport. Well, hey, they're better than bus stations, though. I mean, I don't know what's worse there. So I've done both, but it's like traveling.
Next time, everyone's coming on trains. That's it.
Planes, trains, automobiles. That's a good
I was like, oh man, airplanes. And like I said, that whole glitch thing that happened, I was like, what are the odds? Oh my god!
At the same time, like, gosh. So I guess obviously it's a vampire movie. Any other creatures that you're hoping to make some movies over that inspired you, or vampires is your like main?
I mean, this is our our first vampire movie, so I've always wanted to make a vampire movie. I'm a big fan of Lost Boys, and always have been, and Fright Night, and From Dusk Till Dawn. So this is definitely my first time working with a supernatural monster of any sort. Even though the Universal monsters were my first love, I've never made anything with any like werewolf or creature from the Black Lagoon or anything like that. So this is my first time. Normally I tend to stick to more human monsters. So this is a night. It definitely brings back some nostalgic feelings of being a kid watching Universal monster movies and vampire movies.
Obviously, I can't spoil anything, but is there any like Easter eggs or anything? What's the word I'm trying to think of? Or nods to any movie like Lost Boys or anything that we can like relate to another movie or a little.
They're all in there. I mean, we have nods to Hammer horror, the Hammer horror vampire movies for sure. Fright Night, definitely. Fright Night 2, definitely for sure. Fright Night 2 is a underrated classic. We got to shoot in a bowling alley for this movie, so immediately brought back the Fright Night 2 scene where they're in the bowling alley. So we got that in there. Definitely From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, that's a certified classic. And the Lost Boys as well. And then a few other vampire movies that maybe like people don't know about. But I'll go into more as we go along. But there's so much in there. But that's just what we like to do. We like to like make a love letter basically to our favorite movies.
Yep. Hey, Bones and Hobbs is in here, and Bones is like fanging and banging. Yeah. Talking like vampire movies, one that I don't know how many people watch, might be underrated, but I saw it on Tubi now. My Best Friend is a Vampire. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
No, I've never seen that one. I've always saw the cover.
With the coffin in the high school locker.
The high school, the locker. I've always seen it in the video stores, but I never actually watched it.
Yeah, I think I had actually gotten it when VHS stores were still around, Blockbuster, but the one I got, it was like a local video store called Video Plus. I remember getting it, and I was like, the good old days.
Recommend it?
Yes, I recommend it for sure.
Yeah, okay. I gotta go back and watch it.
So, yep. and it's on Tubi. So anyone who wants to see it, they had also recently, was it Vestron? I think released it, but I got that one. I think it was Vestron released it finally, but let's see. The After Dark. What is Bones saying? The After Dark is cool new low budget vampire flick. The After Dark. Okay, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, another one that doesn't get talked about much is the Alyssa Milano vampire movie, Embrace of the Vampire.
Yeah.
That one's a great one too. Get a lot of great 90s fashion in there, just totally 90s. So yeah, that one we definitely paid a little homage to as well. So
homage, there we go. That's the word I was trying to think. Big word.
But yeah, again, also on Tubi. So like, yeah, Tubi has tons of vampire movies. I mean, I went to Tubi for a little bit of research myself, and it's like, let me brush up on the Vampire Lovers or Twins of Evil, another great Hammer horror flick.
Yeah, so many vampires. It's like if you put in any, just say like Alien or Shark, Vampire. There's so many movies that come up. So Tubi is great. I love Tubi. It's better than Netflix almost.
Yeah, got it all. Got everything.
Yeah, I like how it has all the independent horror on that too that people may not see. And
yeah, all my friends, all their films are on Tubi. It's like, hey, I know that guy. I know the guy that made that one.
Yep, all of your movies are on there.
Yeah, mine are all on there. Drew, Ellie's movies are on there. So
yeah. What's that one movie? She what was it? The Lake Harvest or that movie with the creature in the lake?
Harvest Lake. Yeah,
or Harvest Lake. There we go. Yep.
Amazon Hotbox, I think, is also on there too.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of good ones on there.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I prefer, a lot of us here, and I know Bones and Hobbs, and they're, physical media collectors, which is always best. But what are your thoughts on streaming and physical media?
I mean, I love physical media, obviously for sure. I mean, that's you can probably see a VHS of Shock 'em Dead back here. I still collect VHS, I still collect Blu-rays. I mean, that's just what I grew up with. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's tons of stuff that I have on Blu-ray or VHS that you can't find on streaming. Streaming is just, I just see it as like another tool, another way to utilize as a film lover. It's just a great tool to have, to be able to have so many movies at your fingertips and so accessible and so easy. I mean, I wish I had something like this when I was a kid. Even though I love physical media, I still wish I would have had streaming too. I mean, it would have been great, just to be able to pull up anything. I mean, like all the movies that we were saying, So yeah, I totally collect. I mean, all my movies are on Blu-ray. Most of them are on VHS as well. I mean, Murdercise on VHS, Streets of Vengeance, Slashlorette Party, and Only Fangs will be on VHS as well. And I do have a film that I'm writing right now that has to do a lot with physical media. You're talking about like what other monsters I want to have in my films. I think I'm going to have maybe some lizard people in my next movie, depending on how things go. But yeah, so yeah, physical media, yeah, it's huge. It's huge to me. I still collect it. I respect it. I love it. But streaming, I can't knock it. I mean, it's for filmmakers like me. I mean, we actually are able to see money from streaming, at least through Tubi. It's been great to me. It's been great to other people that I know. But physical media, I mean, selling Blu-rays. I mean, I sold like 6 Blu-rays just yesterday. Murdercise and Slashlorette Party. I mean, and almost every day I'm selling more and more Blu-rays. So I mean, people still want it. People still want that physical media. So I'm glad. I'm definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, Murdercise so far. I'm sure Only Fangs will probably top it, but Murdercise has got to be my favorite so far. That's great.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool.
Let's see. Bones was saying, you're welcome. Bones was saying when your net goes out, though, you have your collection to watch. So yeah, that's true. And the special features are always great too, which unfortunately,
you can't get that on streaming. You can't get the audio commentary. You can't get the behind the scenes making of documentaries. So. Yeah, man, I love it. I mean, yeah, like that guy said, yeah, when you're in a pinch and you have no internet, you always have your collection.
Just pop it right in.
Yeah, just have a marathon.
Yeah. It's a shame Blockbuster still isn't around, though, or any of those stores. It's like, it's so great just going in there and, picking out your copies of whatever.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, there's those memories as a kid that I have, going to the local video store that made me want to make movies in the first place.
And let's see, what was another one I had watched recently? Was talking about Monster Squad before on another cast or whatever. Wolfman has no hearts.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Tubi. Saw that as
Wolfman
well.
has no hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that documentary.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, that was really good. I thought that was a really good doc. It definitely brought back a lot of memories of watching the Monster Squad. Because I had it recorded off of HBO on a VHS tape as well, and that's how I watched it. Was just recorded off HBO.
I think besides An American Werewolf in London, Werewolf transformation, probably the Monster Squad transformation with him in the phone booth when he was like talking to the cop, that was another really good transformation. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, as a kid, I love the Universal horror, monster movies. So me watching Monster Squad was just like, it felt like these guys were just as great, if not better, than the ones the black and white movies that I was watching from the 40s. Like it passed my test, as a kid. Like the creature, I mean, he looks amazing, like the makeup, the costume. I mean, it looks, you think about it now, it's like, I don't know if they can even do that like now, currently. Everything's like CGI, things like a lot of computers, which help, but the creature from the Black Lagoon, I mean, the Gill Man, it looked so real, and then the werewolf too, so he was the Wolfman. It was great.
Yeah, they have I guess they're redoing the Wolfman again, and then I believe December Nosferatu is coming out, so that should be interesting to see the original, like a remade, like an updated version of that. I mean,
right, because they're trying to do like a whole like kind of like a Marvel universe type thing, right?
But with Monster
with
Universe.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like I said, as a kid, Monster fan, Monster kid, that I'm very interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, they kind of failed though with Tom Cruise Mummy though. That one was kind of.
Oh, I even see that.
Yeah, didn't miss much. So he could just stick with the action movie. I mean, it's not him. It's just sometimes the way they portray the story or stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not always the actor's fault, but
reboot it again.
What was that you cut out there?
Oh yeah, they probably have to reboot it again since it didn't do so well.
Oh yeah,
reboot it.
So what do you think? I mean, Only Fangs pretty much is original idea, but there's so many remakes and stuff. I mean, it's good to see something original out there. And that's what's great about independent horror more than mainstream. It's sometimes more creative when it comes to ideas. So.
Yeah, definitely independent cinema. You get to try things out. Things that would not fly, that would not be, given a green light. As it say by a studio exec. Yeah, you can go as wild and as over the top as you want. I mean, there's some movies out there, Crackoon, animal movies where they're getting high on drugs and stuff. I mean, the fact that Cocaine Bear even exists. I mean, I think that's kind of the blending of independent horror kind of merging into mainstream. I mean, I think mainstream people are like, what the fuck is this? But independent horror fans are like, whoa, this is exactly what we want to see. So much so, then started inspiring a bunch of other people doing their movies too. I have friends that are doing, Cocaine Crabs, or like I said, Crackoon, Crocodile,
or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's something like that. Like it's stuff like that. So yeah. Whereas like things that were so crazy you would never see in a mainstream movie are now kind of being blended into the mainstream a little bit here and there.
So how was it on the set of Only Fangs and all, putting together all of the actual vampire fangs and stuff? Now, were they like just molded to fit them, or were they just fangs that you bought, or how were they made?
Yeah, the fangs, we just bought them. We just bought them offline. The effects artist, she had suggested a certain brand, so I just got those, and then once they came in, she just helped affix them to their teeth. Some of them would fall out, so they have to use this denture glue they use for dentures and stuff, and that worked. So yeah, they did have to kind of come up with a way to keep the teeth in so they wouldn't fall out, because the stuff that it comes with inside the little package, it's not strong enough. It's because when people talk and stuff, they'll or their tongue, or when they're biting and stuff, too much movement will knock the teeth out. So there's a couple of shots where you'll see like Jessa doing something, and all of a sudden her tooth falls out. It's like, oh my god, my tooth fell out. So you'll see that in a blooper reel probably. But it happens to everybody. Everyone loses teeth.
Oh yeah, yeah. They had I haven't gotten a pair of those, but I saw there was a pair you can get where they're in and you like kind of like flick your tongue or whatever and they like pop down. So
Oh, really?
yeah, or
Oh,
if like you move it a certain way or something where you can't tell, like where you can like
yeah.
push the fangs down and it looks like they're they're retractable. There we go, fangs.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I
cool.
didn't know if you had gotten those or I mean, there's
No,
so
I
many
didn't see
different
those,
types.
but they sound cool. I'll probably have to check them out.
Well, there you go for Only Fangs the sequel when that comes out. There you go. You can get
Oh
some
no,
retractable.
I gotta do some pickup shots later on this year, so maybe I'll switch out the fangs.
But yeah, that might be something you want to look up. I mean, they're pretty cool how you
Yeah,
just do there and they come down, and
yeah,
won't have to like edit in the effects or anything where the fangs come down, just real
yeah,
time things. So
yeah, yeah. No, I have to
like
check it out.
I'm sure. How much blood would you say you've been using on OnlyFangs? Being a vampire movie, of course, I'm sure lots of blood.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of blood. This time, I wasn't in charge of any effects. So I had an effects person, and she said that she was making gallons of blood. She didn't tell me exactly how many gallons, but yeah, it was gallons of blood
Nice.
that we used. And we still have some left over because we have this effect that we haven't shot yet. And this effect is going to require a lot of blood. It's essentially, one of the main villains being killed, and so we're gonna just have a bloodbath basically. But yeah, we definitely bloodied up a lot of our locations. So definitely had to do a lot of cleanup. We're just lucky at the locations were okay. Most of them were okay with spilling tons and tons of blood.
The cleanup after is like, yeah, we're just gonna have a little blood here. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I mean we tried using like drop cloths and stuff, but if it wasn't for those, I mean, it'd probably been way worse. But still, it's way too much. It's a lot of blood. Most blood I've ever used, I would say.
Nice. That's always fun to work with blood.
Yeah.
The bloodier, the better, I say. So,
oh yeah.
Let's see. What was I going to say about Only Things? I've seen the trailer, and I'll link the trailer down below and everything after. But what can you tell us story-wise? What we'll be expecting with Only Fangs?
I mean, it definitely has a '90s feel to it. I mean, we took a lot of inspiration from like movies like like Wayne's World and She's All That and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As far as like the aesthetics go, I mean, not just vampire movies, but just '90s movies in general. I mean, because it's a comedy, so we have like a very likable character. Drew Marwick plays the lead. He plays Wes, who's like really into monster hunting. And he has this little monster show he does on YouTube. But he's never actually found anything until one night this group of vampires come into his town, and then he ends up seeing one, and no one believes him. And then these vampires come to him and bring him into their world, and he ends up forming like an alliance with them because we learns that these vampires are not just out here just to be evil. They're out here to feed, but they're on the run themselves. They're also hiding out from someone who's trying to track them down. So Drew and the vampires, they form an alliance, and he ends up helping them create an app so they can make money and feed still without having to kill people. That's his whole thing. So they try it out, and so that's what starts Only Fangs. And so Only Fangs is the app that they create within the movie.
Basically, so they can feed without killing people and just survive, and
not having to live in the shadows anymore. And like I said, or like runaways. So yeah, so that's their plan, or at least that's how things start out.
Mm-hmm. Of course, and then of course something will go wrong. Of course. That's fun. So you said a lot of stuff that you took from, and you did mention Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Did you see the movie before the TV show? And
I've never seen the TV show. I've only seen the movie.
Okay.
I've heard that the TV show is good, but I just never got into it. I think when it came around, I was just not into the WB teen dramas. Like I just never got into any of those shows. I think I was trying to make my own movies at that time, so I was never watching like One Tree Hill or Dawson's Creek or any of that stuff. I was just like, I missed that whole era, I guess.
Oh, Dawson's Creek was okay, but it kind of got repetitive. They get together, they break up, they get together, break up. That was
Right. And so Buffy probably would have been the only one I would have watched, but yeah, I
yeah.
just never got around to it.
Yeah, I think it still holds up, and it's kind of funny because I believe I was like in elementary when it originally came out and everything, and I convinced my mom to rent the movie at the video store because I had like seen it. So I saw the movie first, and then
Yeah.
when the shows came on, and well, I think she actually ended up liking the movie too, and I got her into the show as well. I mean, so it's regardless of age or everybody who's like vampires, you know, it's easy to get into. It's the comedy and everything and action. And I believe Donald Sutherland, I'm sorry, was the Watcher in the first movie there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love Paul Rubin's little character.
Yeah, that's so weird seeing him as a vampire. Like, I mean, I just see him as like Pee Wee Herman, but then he's doing the vampire. He's like, "You ripped my jacket, kill him a lot."
Oh yeah, so good. Yeah, Angie's never seen that one, so I try to show her that one as well. So
it's like when she gets back, you're like, okay, you got to watch this movie, Angie. I'm telling you,
gotta watch Buffy,
the original. And that whole death scene, over the top death scene, he's like, and the way she looks at him and stuff, like, it was funny because that wasn't planned at all. That's why he was like, just go with it.
Yeah, he looks at her. Yeah.
I've met Christy Swanson a couple of times, and I think it was at MegaCon, and we were talking about that and scene, and she's like, yeah, he started doing that. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you weird? She's like, that was the weirdest moment of like my entire filming career. He just gets back up, like, what's going on?
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, little fun fact, people. Random shot that wasn't in the movie. Check it out. So, what type of show, when you're not busy filming, of course, what type of shows do you like to watch?
You know, actually, I've really been obsessed with Better Call Saul. That show, I might enjoy it more than Breaking Bad. You know, I can always go back to that show. I've watched it, the whole thing from beginning to end. I don't know, like 5 times now. It's just so much detail, just the way they told the story, even just through images and montages. It's just, man, it's just a step above like anything that I've seen lately on TV. So Better Call Saul, man, it's so funny. It's so good and so dramatic. And I don't know. I keep trying to tell people to watch it, and you know, it's like they don't really get it. It's like, well, I mean, it's about a lawyer and he's like a shyster. It's like, yeah. I mean, he gets there, but you know, he starts off one way, and he has this relationship with his brother who's like allergic to electricity or something. So, Better Call Saul, yeah, I've just been really obsessed with it. It's like my favorite show right now, even though it's already ended a few years ago. But yeah, it's just like a gold mine to go back to, especially if you're a filmmaker. I mean, the subject of filmmaking is kind of a theme in Better Call Saul as well. So if you're a filmmaker, yeah, go watch Better Call Saul. You'll get so much inspiration from it.
Yeah, I had started watching it. I think I watched the first season or so. It was really good, but I watched so much, it's hard to keep up with everything, you know.
Yeah.
So many movies and shows, and I got to go back and watch stuff, and I don't even know how many shows I got to catch up on. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I get that.
So, but like I was watching, I left off on, I think, episode 3 of Evil. I don't know if you watched that with the priest and the woman who was like helps out. Like at first, like she doesn't really believe in the demons supernatural. You know, they're like she's there with them to prove whether or not it is a possession or if it's all psychological. So it's got both. Like there may be some psychological things going on, some maybe actual demons. And there's like this nun who sees the demons, and she's like killing it. Like it's funny because people, like, she's walking by, she sees these demons like going into their head or like all this stuff that no one sees. And it's a really interesting show if you're in the, you know.
What platform is that on?
Now it's on Paramount, I believe. It was like CBS, and then they changed it or whatever. You know how they switch channels and stuff, the new seasons and all that. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting show. It's got I forget the guy's name, but he played in Lost, the dark haired guy. And he was also on that show. where they like watched people and they like figured stuff out. They would like find people by equations or something. I'd have to look it up. It's been shown. Yeah, it was. It's gonna bug me what his name is.
Yeah,
I don't see Steven in here tonight. He usually like looks stuff up for us. I guess maybe since I usually do the show on Sundays, he might like forgot. Like even though I posted it up and announced it, he probably forgot being used to Sunday shows. But whenever I have questions or he like knows everything, he's like he'll look it up and promote and everything.
Oh yeah, it's good to have like a Jamie.
So yeah, and he also like always likes to help promote my guest and everything. He runs a I'm sure both you and Angie, it's the Women of Darkness, but I mean he's still probably promoting Angie and stuff. I don't know if you've seen that group on Facebook or not, but
yeah, I mean it's been a while since I've seen him, but yeah,
he's been on. Yeah, he's a cool guy, really supportive of everybody in the community and helps us out. And
that's cool.
That's so great. What's great about the horror community, I mean, we all love horror, watching horror, and if we're involved with it, we always help each other out. So it's probably one of the best communities. Some people might be like, you like that horror stuff, going to conventions, you're weird. It's like, no, we're probably more normal than most people.
Yeah,
if you want to say that. But then again, what is normal,
Yeah. No. I mean, lately has been a lot of drama, it feels like, online, but we just stay away from that. It's all good.
Yeah, there might be occasional drama, but everything works out in the end. We all
just don't get involved and you'll be okay.
Don't get involved with that.
Hey, looking for some movies to watch.
Exactly. Whenever there's drama, pop in a movie or make your own, whichever it is.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We got someone just came in, Paul Duck Taylor. Hey, how's it going tonight?
What up?
Let's see. Any other questions there? Nope, we're good. What advice would you say for anyone who wants to write or direct their own film?
I mean, the advice would be to do it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you now. I mean, a lot of people say money. A lot of people try to say that money will prevent you from doing something. Yeah, of course. It's going to stop you from doing big things. But if it's your first time doing it, I mean, you don't need a lot of money to do your first film. You really shouldn't. I mean, I would advise against that. But I mean, there have been plenty of people who have launched Indiegogo campaigns as a first-time director, and they ended up, getting a lot of money. But I've also seen a few other guys try to do it on their first film and get nothing. So I mean, there's really no way to know what your project is going to do if you're going to try to get into that campaign crowdfunding scene. So anything like that, I mean, I would advise against it. It might be discouraging if you try to do it and then you don't raise anything. I would try to just do it on your own with your own money, with your friends. You can all just have to do it for free. I mean, that's the bottom line. You're going to have to get your friends together. They're going to do it for free because they want to do it. They want to do something fun, and you want to do it. More importantly, so you're just going to have to make it happen. And of course, I would say short. Keep it short and sweet. Obviously, because the most important thing to learn is how to complete it. Like you write it, direct it, shoot it, and edit it, and then premiere it or show it. That's a habit that you should get used to, is completing things. Because it's a slippery slope of not completing stuff, and when you start slipping down that slope, I mean, it's going to be hard to get your way back up. I mean, almost impossible. So I would just keep it short, inexpensive, and just learn how to shoot and write and shoot, because you're gonna learn a lot of stuff going along the way. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, but it's gonna be fun. Most importantly, it should be fun. So I would just do it as quickly as you can.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Pretty much learn as each one and improve on each project, and probably best just before any Indiegogos or anything.
Yeah.
Start shooting stuff and then show people what you can do, besides just be like, hey, I need money. And then like, who are you? I mean, like, no offense, it could be really good, but if you haven't done anything, it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And again, people have done it and they've gotten money on their first time, but I think that's what's it called? It's like, that's the outlier. I don't think that's usual. I think it's the exception, not the rule. So if you want to try it, go ahead. But if you're gonna listen to my advice, I would say no.
Let's see. What else? Any funny stories besides the fangs falling out on Only Fangs or behind the scenes moments that you could share?
Yeah, with Only Fangs, I mean, it was really professional. Like it felt like a graduation of sorts. When we did Murdercise, it's a single location, so everyone was there, all in one building, all at the same time. We were all together, so we're all talking, goofing off. Everyone's goofing around. This one, it felt like because we were in a big house and everyone had pretty much their own room. Everyone had their own room. They had their own quarters to go to in between takes. So there wasn't a lot of goofing off really. Like if you weren't on set, they would go to their room, and they would go into their bed and just hang out or eat something. So it wasn't a lot of goofing off as Murdercise was. I mean, Murdercise, we had tons of, you know, the girls are doing TikTok videos and they're going outside, going to the store in their full costume. So, they're really having a lot of fun. This one, it was more, like I said, a little more professional. Like when they weren't needed on set, they would go retire to their room. Other days when we shot on location and we're all together in one room for extended period of time, you had no room to go off of. For example, like the finale or the rap video sequence, we had everyone there, so everyone was in the. We shot in a skate park. It's attached to a store, so everyone was there, just hanging out, having fun, talking, and again, they have malfunctions with their teeth or malfunctions with their hair or something would fall out, so those are those, fun times. There was a rat that the special effects artist had bought because I had asked her to have a fake rat for a scene in the movie. And she wasn't able to make the fake rat. I don't remember how exactly she wasn't able to make one. So she bought a real one, a live one. So that rat became like a little pet for everyone on set. And don't worry, nothing happened to the rat. The rat was perfectly fine.
No
But the rat
animals
was gonna be in
harmed.
the movie, and it was one of the vampire girls was gonna hold it, and like look at it and stuff. So, but the rat, it was had this own little cage, and everybody was, around the rat having fun with it. They were saying like they were gonna adopt it and whose parents were and things like that. So they had fun doing all that kind of stuff. And we shot in the theater, so there was a stage, and everybody would get up there and do like their little monologues and stuff. So it was yeah, it was really fun when we were on location and we had like I said, you didn't have a place to go. You were just all forced to be in one spot. So that was really fun. Or shooting in the bowling alley, we came up with just like a bunch of funny little spots or little, I guess, bits, I guess you want to call them, to having to do with the bowling alley, to like throwing people into pins and stuff and rolling them like a bowling ball, stuff like that. So yeah, those were really fun. We shot in a saloon. It was really hot in there, but we we made it out. It was so humid in that place, but yeah, it was just a lot of fun, just a lot of laughs, just people just trying stuff. We were just like, hey, let's try this or let's try that. How about you jump on this guy's back and he just spins you around while you're biting his neck or something. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, like just pulling together. It's for a team effort and to think of like just creative ways to get around a problem.
So, obviously, besides following the script, you were saying, figuring things out.
Mhm.
Um, do you like when, on occasion, an actor might have some improv and keep it in the movie, or you're open for that? Then,
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been like that for ever since I started making movies. And if you've seen Murdercise, I mean, there's a prime example of Drew and Jessa. Their infamous scene that they have together, where he says, "Look at my tits." That whole
he's
scene,
covered his eyes. He's like, nope, nope.
right? So that whole scene, yeah, I just let them improv, and we just let it go on and on and on because we had worked that out the night before in the hotel room. And I said, yeah, just, you really want him to get him to look at your tits and you really don't want to see it because your job is right on the line. So let's just use that and see what happens. And so, yeah, so that was a improv work rehearsal mixture combination. So that's where it worked out. So yeah, I always welcome people adding some ideas. A lot of actors do. I mean, Brian Hurd, he often brings ideas to his characters. Luis Maya, same thing. They were both in Murdercise. So yeah, I always like to hear what an actor, if they've thought about their character, what they'd like to add, and if they can riff with another actor, that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was probably one of the funniest scenes between Drew and Jessa. That was great. He's like, nope, I just care about that big fat union check. Nope.
Yeah, those plump union checks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and see, and that was them just riffing with each other, just getting into a groove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jessa, she's quite talented. She's done so much, and she seems like she does stuff every month, and everything just keeps getting better and better with her. I mean, she's pretty much a scream queen, and she could do beyond. And she's freaking she even did I'm sorry, offhand, I forget which that YouTube show or I think it might have been called Inner Beauty. I think that she worked on something along those lines where she had that dramatic role with like that guy that she was talking about breaking up with. I mean, so she's talented, drama, horror, whatever. So
I mean, comedy is something that's she's shown the world that she can do. And I think after that scene, or after people saw her in Murdercise, I think they're like, I want that. Or I've actually had people say, what she was doing in Murdercise, I want that in my movie, and so people will try to, recreate that, which is great, like, you see something, you like it, and you want it for yourself. But Jessa, I mean, it was so great to work with her this time around. We have to bring her back again to work with her and finish up her character. But yeah, it was great to see her again and to see how she's grown so much, even from Murdercise and to now. So it's done a lot for her career. It's done a lot for us. Our first collaboration, and I'm really happy for her. Really excited for her.
I had a question here from Paul. He was saying, how do you find those cool locations on an indie budget?
Yeah, so for this one, we needed a lot of locations, and our biggest, I guess, assistant in helping us find the locations is Peerspace. It's a website where you can go to, and people have their studios or locations or houses or whatever they have, where you can rent it, for a certain amount of money per hour. And so that can help, like, okay, well, we need a photo studio and we need an office space, so those type of locations, it did come in handy. Otherwise, it's just having resourceful people, say, hey, I'm looking for, a bar, and people say, hey, well, I have a friend, they own a bar. You go and look at it, and the bar that we use, the saloon, it's in a small town in California that's like maybe like an hour away from where we are. So we drove all the way out there with the cast and crew just to get this bar, because it just looked amazing. And that was, just a friend hooking us up. And in another instance, one of the actors, they work at a bowling alley. So he's like, hey, I have a bowling alley if you guys want to use it. You have to shoot after hours, but you can use it. And it's like, well, fuck, hell yeah. So that was not in the script. I changed the location of a scene that was going to be, normal in a house or something. And then we relocated it to a bowling alley because it's just so much better, so much production value. But yeah, just stuff like that. I mean, it just, sometimes you just have happy accidents, or you have, opportunities that arise, and you just, you got to take it, and, try to reach out to friends and family or friends of friends and see if they have something that's interesting. We have a guy that has access to like a junkyard, or to like a mechanic's auto body shop, or even like a produce warehouse, and those, we were going to use those, locations at one point, but we just ended up finding better locations essentially. So we'll just save those for next time. But it's just really good to have like a database, like if you can start looking for locations, really, really in advance before you do something, even, before you even write something. So you find a location and someone says, yeah, you can shoot here if you want at my bar. Then you write a story that's in a bar, kind of the Robert Rodriguez way. He knew what he had access to, so he wrote around that.
And that's actually what I was about to ask. You just answered that. Like, so when it comes to your writing, where do you want to, write them upon location first? So
yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. I mean, I didn't do that for this one. Like, I really, I mean, I had an idea of like where I could put it if I had to fall back on like a plan B. But then in the end, I didn't even use my plan B. Like I had a location. I said, oh, I could probably use this location. And then I didn't use it. We ended up finding, better locations. So it worked out.
Nice. I wanted to ask you also about Cinco de Mayo and everything about, the teacher, about the Mexican history and unfortunately the racist town and everything. So what was your inspiration for that? Do you like follow the history at all? Or
actually, ironically, the inspiration for that was on my shirt, Rolling Thunder. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a 70s revenge movie written by Paul Schrader, the writer of Taxi Driver, William Devane, Tommy Lee Jones. It's a great movie, great revenge movie, down and dirty, gritty. I suggest anyone out there to go watch it. Tarantino is like one of his favorite movies of all time. So, there's that vouch. So yeah, I really wanted to, for Cinco de Mayo, I wanted to make like a revenge movie. It just kind of evolved more into a slasher. I mean, because most slasher movies, I mean, they are kind of revenge movies, except you're not on the side of the killer. Jason's getting revenge, and Jason's mother is getting revenge in the first Friday the 13th. So, but you're not following from her point of view, so that's the murder mystery. You're following from the victim's point of view. So this one, I wanted to change it where, yeah, it is a slasher movie, but you're following from the killer's point of view. So you see his reasons for revenge or his reasons for, trying to get back at the people that wronged him. So if that's the kind of the blend there. As far as like the history and stuff, I mean, yeah, I definitely was into that. I was definitely interested in that, especially in my early college days. Just because I thought it was something, you never hear about that, It's like it just seemed like it was a good fodder for a movie that you've never seen, like just the racial injustice, I guess. But the movie is more, it's less about that, but more about, like I said, like a revenge. So it's like a good revenge fantasy, and we kind of threw in that other stuff to have a little bit of a social commentary, I guess. But I'm glad when people can pick up on it, and they can like look it up, like, oh yeah, this stuff is real, like this stuff is true.
Yeah. And it's always interesting to see a character fall into, the darkness or whatever, see his transition from being just your everyday, teacher, and then just one day just snapping like that.
Yeah, I guess possessed. Aztec bloodlust.
The Aztec bloodlust, yeah. And Paul said, thanks for answering his question there. Cool, thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
So.
You're welcome.
And then USX there, he was saying the Only Fangs cast is nuts there. But yeah, you got a great cast there. I must agree.
Yeah, I'm definitely lucked out with this cast. Someone had described it as like the Expendables, but for like indie horror actors, which I thought was pretty cool analogy. I mean, like having Kansas and Drew and Jessa and Nina, and then rounding it out, with everyone that's in the movie, Adriana and Meredith, and then having Ellie Church in the movie. I mean, she was someone that I did not plan for. In fact, she wasn't really doing any movies before when I started writing the movie and then casted it. She had reached out and said, hey, this movie looks really interesting. Is there anything for me? I'm thinking about getting back into the indie horror world. And I was like, wow, like, oh my God, like I had to do something, I really wanted to work with her. I didn't know if that would ever be a possibility because she has her own crew, and she has her own, her husband and they have their own writing, directing partner. So I was like, well, there's, she's always gonna be making movies with them, and then she reached out and I was like, well, I got to put this together. I mean, the idea of having Ellie and Kansas and Drew and Ginger Lynn's going to be in there in this movie too. And August, like having all these people together, just, yeah, that idea just thrilled me so much. I was like, I got to make this happen. And, I was lucky enough. I had a role that I didn't have anyone cast for it. I mean, I would have wished I had a bigger role for Ellie, but she has a great role and she did really good in it. And now that she's in it, I can't picture anyone else, in that role besides her, which is usually a great sign,
Yeah. And besides her, I know Christy from Nightmare Toys is also
Yeah.
involved. How did she get involved with that? Were you aware of her page and store and all that, or how did?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been following her for a while. She did a review of Murdercise, and which great review for Murdercise for us, and she really loved the movie. So I reached out to her. I thanked her, like for giving such a great review, and I just talked to her. I said, "Hey, would you ever be interested in maybe doing something? Being acting?" And she said she had done some acting here and there in a couple of other movies, but she would love to. And I told her about Only Fangs, and she was on board. Like say less. So I wrote out a scene, her scene. She's actually going to be with Ginger Lynn.
Okay.
Ginger requested a scene with Christy, and so I was like, okay, well, yeah, perfect. I mean, they're both in Vegas, and I'm going to go to Vegas and shoot with them, and Drew's going to be in the scene as well. So it's like it's perfect. It just works out. So yeah, I'm really excited to shoot with her. She's really cool. She's been so supportive of the movie too. So
Mhm.
real excited to meet her. I've never met her before, so
Okay. Yep.
it's gonna be
And
fun.
I know Ginger's been in a bunch of your movies as well, and she's been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How did you meet her?
I met her. We met her for Streets of Vengeance. Again, it wasn't planned out that she was going to be in the movie. It's just ironically, I had used the cover of her movie New Wave Hookers from the '80s as inspiration for the aesthetics of the movie of Streets of Vengeance, and I used that to show the other actors, hey, this is kind of what we're going for. Not really, they didn't know who she was, but it's like, oh, this is Ginger Lynn. And so eventually, when we started shooting Streets of Vengeance, and we had some downtime, and we were starting to think of like, okay, let's try to expand this scene, or let's try to expand this character. We created the character of Roxy Carmichael, and I thought, well, Ginger Lynn, wouldn't that be crazy if Ginger Lynn, the inspiration for this movie, the aesthetic inspiration for this movie, was actually played a character? And me and Angie talked about it, and we said, well, like, which do you think she would do it? We didn't know her. And I sent her an email, and I sent her the trailer to Streets of Vengeance and the script, and she responded. She said, yeah, she loved it. She thinks it's a great idea. We flew her to San Francisco. We shot in and around the city, and we had so much fun with her. Like, she was just such a great person. She has so many great stories, and we just really took to each other really quickly, and I'm really honored that we're considered her friends, like she's had us over to her house and stay the night in her guest room and everything. So it's like really weird, like when you think about it, like how close we are to Ginger Lynn now, and how it just started off as just an email. Hey, do you think you could be in our movie? We're just nobodies from Central California, but we would love to work with you. And that's basically how it started.
Yeah. It's always interesting. You'll never know who you become friends with in the industry. It's just connections and talking and who you meet, and just falls through just as
Yeah.
life is planned. So
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. Really surreal when you stop and think about it.
yeah. Uh, do you have any plans to attend any upcoming conventions, or have you done conventions in the past?
I don't have any plans for that right now. I'm just mainly focused on finishing Only Fangs. So when we shot for 6 days straight. We have about maybe 85% of the movie done, but we got to finish up the rest. So lately, I've just been focusing on campaigning. We have our Indiegogo campaign; it's still up, so you still have time to pre-order a Blu-ray or a DVD or a poster, or get any producers credits. Definitely helps us, so we can continue to shoot. Basically, it's like a finishing funds, I guess, kind of a thing. So I've only just been focused on that. I did want to attend some conventions, but you know, when you have the movie, it's like I got to finish this movie first, and then maybe we can do some conventions. And people have been inviting me to conventions in other states, and it's like, oh man, I would love to go, but everything I have is just wrapped up in production right now.
Mhm. Once it's out, do you think maybe when you go to conventions, you think you might do like a screening of it at them? I know, like for example, Spooky Empire or Dragon Con, they have screenings of movies. Do you think you would want to do that?
I mean,
Take
if
it on
they
the road?
if they invite us, yeah. I mean, we had Murdercise screen at the Genre Blast Film Festival when it first came out, and that was great. We didn't get to go, unfortunately. We're still wrapped up in fulfilling the perks from the Indiegogo campaign. But yeah, if there's any that convention or film festival that would want Only Fangs, yeah, I'd definitely be open to talking about it for sure.
All right, nice. Let's see. Well, we're coming up to an hour. If you want to stay on longer, you're welcome, or we can wrap this up and I can ask my final question that I ask everybody. It's up to you what you would like to do.
No, if you have more to ask him, I'm definitely down to talk. Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's fine, whatever. So, I mean, it is later here than it is there. I know you're
Yeah,
a
yeah,
couple hours behind
it's
me
only
and all
7
stuff,
o'clock,
too.
so yeah, I can say, I can stay up all night. I know over there. Yeah, it's
You're
pretty
like,
late.
you're like, I'm good. I got 3 more hours. Oh, it'll be 1 o'clock here.
Yeah, no, your show, man. You call the shots. Huh? I'm here as long as you need me. This is my first interview for OnlyFans. Like, we haven't interviewed with anyone else yet, so.
Oh, well, I'm honored. Oh, I should ask some more OnlyFans questions. Get them all in. Be the first of them all.
Yeah. This is the first one.
So, well, I'm honored. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad we
you.
were able to set it up. So,
yeah.
And of course, after me, best of luck. And I hope, I'll help you get it out there too. And I'll get those links out, show the trailer and all that. And
cool, man. Appreciate it.
Support it 100% there. So, yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's going to be really good, I think. I mean, from the trailer, I mean, it looks hilarious. So,
yeah,
Vampire movies, one of my top, fandoms. So
awesome.
I think it'll be a good success for you. So I wish you the best.
It's our biggest movie yet, and so we're really excited. The reception has been great. I mean, it's been our biggest reception yet, either as well. I mean, the trailer has like 85,000 views. I mean, I've never had a trailer get that many views or anything to get that many views ever. So thank you guys, all the fans out there, for watching it and sharing it. So yeah, it's our biggest movie yet. So we're very, very grateful, very appreciative.
I'm curious to see. I was going to look at, let's see how many views it's up to now. Only Fangs. There.
Yeah, it keeps going up, man. I mean, I don't know where it's going to stop, but I'm enjoying the ride.
Oh, yeah. Teaser trailer. Here we go. It says, 87,000 views.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's even more than I thought. Wow.
I just hope the people who watched your trailer watch this interview.
Yeah.
I know that's not going to happen, but
yeah,
but that's funny though. But.
Yeah, I'll clip it on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it's really been crazy. The reception has been great. So really thankful for all of our supporters and all of our friends for sharing the hell out of this thing. Yeah, we couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I mean, it's impressive when getting someone like that can bring that crowd,
Yeah.
I mean, even though you do it, I mean, because you love it, but it's also, it's nice too to, get that numbers. Not gonna lie.
It feels great. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. So yeah, it feels great. And I'm just gonna enjoy the ride while I can.
That's basically what you can do, especially for, being in the independent horror genre to like bring in that many fans. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm mind blown. For sure. I don't know why or how, so don't ask.
That's funny. And of course, whenever Angie gets back and once the movie comes out too, you're always welcome back also. And
cool,
we can actually discuss certain scenes and process and what was going on. So
yeah, we definitely love to hear your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely review it for sure and get so
cool.
Let's see. What else would you like to share about Only Fangs?
It's just been something I've been trying to make since I think 2019. That's when I think I first started writing the script. I think during like the pandemic, and it's been an idea that I thought, like I said, I love vampire movies. I love Fright Night, Lost Boys, and so it's just been really a dream come true for me to be able to make these movies in the first place, and then to make Only Fangs. I think a lot of people are really shocked, like I said, by the reception for just like a silly vampire movie. But I'm very grateful for everyone working on the movie, the effects, the cinematography, the acting. I mean, everything is just taken up to a whole new level. It's our biggest movie yet in so many terms, in so many areas, cast, crew, even locations, the scope, it's just, it's a very ambitious movie, for sure. Many people have told me that, even people on our team have said, "Oh, maybe this is too ambitious. Maybe this is maybe bit off more you can chew. A little bit of concerns there, but
Mhm.
that just tells me that I'm going in the right direction. You should want to do something that's a little scary, you know, or do something that pushes you and challenges you because there's been a lot of challenges for this movie. So I think, but they're all going to be it's all going to pay off, I believe, in the end,
Mhm.
as far as having a finished movie that people will enjoy.
Right. Since you said you had the idea and started writing it in 2019, of course it's meant to happen, and now is the perfect time. But do scripts usually take that long to write, or you just wanted, since this was more what you said, an ambitious project, that now
Mhm.
was the time? It took that time to finally produce it.
Well, I think for me, I made the kind of the mistake of writing two scripts at once. And so I was juggling two scripts. So like I wouldn't just focus on one and do the other one. So there was a year, I believe it was 21, because I was working on Slashlorette Party, and that had been released in 2020. So I was still editing that and like shooting pickup shots, but also, kind of trying to do some writing. I like to write while I'm in post production on movies. In fact, I'm writing something right now that I'm in post production on Only Fangs. I just like to just keep it going because, if you don't keep it going, you can, like I said, it's a slippery slope. You can stop and all your momentum just stops.
Mhm.
So when 2020 came around, that's when Slashlorette Party came out. And then, I was busy, pushing that and everything, trying to get it onto Film Hub. And 2020 and 2021, I was like, okay, I'm going to finish these scripts finally. I just want to finish them. I don't want to keep writing them because you can get stuck into that mode, just constantly writing, rewriting, tweaking. So I made like a goal for myself to finish the two scripts. It's a wrestling horror movie, and then Only Fangs. And then I added Murdercise. Murdercise was like I didn't, that was probably the fastest script ever wrote. And I finished all three of those scripts at the end of 2021. And so when 2022 came around, we started working on Murdercise because it seemed like the easiest. So I was like, okay, let me just do Murdercise. Let me put Only Fangs again on the back burner. And let's just work on Murdercise. And then when Murdercise came out and finished it, I went back to Only Fangs, polished it up. It was pretty much done. Like I said, I finished at the end of the year in 21. It was pretty much done. I kind of changed a few things and then started on that. So yeah, I was like kind of in a cycle of just taking too long of a time to write two scripts at the same time, and then I ended up making a goal. I was just gonna finish it and not mess with writing anymore. Just finish my scripts at the end
Mhm.
of 2021.
When you first start writing the script and you think of your characters and the story, do you think of like how it ends first, what leads up to it, which character does what? What's your process of writing the story?
It's different each time. Like some stories start off with, I know exactly what's gonna happen. Some of them don't, and you kind of just have to find it. Like Murder Size, I pretty much knew from beginning to end as I was writing out in like kind of beat form and storyline outline form. I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do, and then I look back on those old notes and I can see how it's changed a little bit. Some characters are different. Some characters don't even exist. When I look back on those old notes, Only Fangs was something that I had to picture. I had to think about the end. I had the beginning, I had the inception first, of course, and then I just started working my way through. And then like the wrestling movie, I had the ending. I knew how I wanted to end exactly. Like I know it has to end this way. There's no other way. And I have the beginning, and then it was the middle I had to finish. And so that was really tough. Like that was a hard script to write, and that was taking a lot of my time away from OnlyFans was to figure out the wrestling movie. So yeah, now I think about it, each of those scripts, they all had their own different approaches.
Mhm. Nice. And for your movies so far, they've just been one-ons. Are there any stories that you might want to continue as a sequel? Or
The only one I think maybe could use a sequel would be Murdercise, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But because most people are dead, so it would be like a whole new cast. But there's a lot of them that lived. A lot of people lived at the end of Murdercise. More people than sometimes you think. But a lot, all the heroes survived. So yeah, that might be one. But usually I don't really think about that. Only Fangs, that also could have a sequel as well. Just the way it ends in the script. So. I don't know. Yeah, I never thought about doing a sequel before, but people have been asking more and more lately if I would do a sequel. So those two are the ones right now I see could possibly.
Possibly, yeah. For Murdercise, it would be interesting to see, since she's now friends with her, and to see how like the family is, how the father, how the mom, maybe she get deeper involved with that or something. So
right now she's a mafia enforcer, basically.
So that could be interesting. Yeah. Almost not quite, but almost a Street of Vengeance sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Yeah, I think definitely Streets of Vengeance and Murdercise and Only Fangs, that they're all related in a way. Yeah, they're cousins for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess I'll ask my last question. It's been great. Thanks to Paul, Duck Tucker, and Hobbs was in here, and all them. So, and I'm sure I'll probably get more hits on the replay, since this isn't really my normal night. But
yeah.
But I'll share it out. I'll give you the link to share out, and cool. And I'll of course put the links to the trailer and all that. So, my last question for you is, what's something interesting about you that fans may not know, whether a talent or interest, hobbies, whatever, that you could share?
Something interesting. I mean, like sometimes I think about that too. It's like, man, my life is just movies, like writing movies, watching TV. I'm obsessed
Sounds like me.
with television, like I'm obsessed with, at least growing up, I was obsessed with like cable access, public access TV. We used to have one here in our town, and they would just be the weirdest shows on there, and I would just record them on VHS. And I guess, I don't know, like I'm kind of a pack rat in that way. Like I would just record anything, just record it on tape. And now that YouTube is around, like that's where I spend most of my time, just watching like old commercials or old like Nick at Night programs and stuff like that. So like TV was definitely an obsession. So I'm trying to think of something that's not movie related at all. I mean, I don't know. As I say, I'm really into comic books. Well, not anymore, but I used to when I was a kid. I have a lot of old X-Men comic books, a lot of old Marvel comic books. But that's kind of still related to kind of geek culture too, I guess.
Or any interesting collections or stuff you like to collect, or who knows, anything random, whatever.
I mean, like I said, the only thing is the comic books. I have a big collection. Movies for sure. Started collecting VHS. I started collecting like VHS movies, the big box like adult VHS movies. But like I said, I had that for Streets of Vengeance, and that's what inspired the whole aesthetic. So it's stuff like that. Like it's just movies, man. Like I don't know, like I have those, and I have Criterion. On the other hand, I have like Fellini movies and Jean-Luc Godard movies, and I don't know. I'm just like surrounded.
Just a movie hall, yeah,
and just a bunch of different types of movies, a bunch of different types of genres, and it's just I find it fascinating. Right now, I'm on an erotic thriller kick. There's a really great documentary called "We Kill for Love." It was released, I think, this year, or maybe earlier, or maybe late last year. It's on Tubi. We're into the erotic thrillers of like Jim Wynorski movies, or Fred Olen Ray movies, or Shannon Tweed movies. It's a really great documentary, and like I'm writing my own right now, so yeah, I just get on. Like I said, I get onto these kicks of genres, and I start just watching them. And it's like, okay, I want to do something like that. Let me start making something like that. So I guess that's the trajectory I'm following right now. If you
so after since you like documentaries, you said you're going to do a documentary yourself also eventually.
Oh no, I'm gonna do an erotic thriller.
Oh, erotic thriller. Okay.
Yeah, it's a documentary about erotic thriller.
There we go, erotic thriller documentary.
So now I'm writing that. So yeah. So I guess that's where I'm headed to.
Yeah, pretty much this is all movies, just more inspiration to just entertain us even more. Just keep on
Yeah.
working there. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all I'm obsessed with right now.
hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
Bring it out. We'll definitely all check it out. So I mean, we appreciate what you do and enjoy, watching the movies, and I'll promote it and everything, like I said. And
I
that's
appreciate it, man.
pretty much it.
Appreciate
And
it very much.
so yeah, hopefully next time Angie will be able to join us. Tell her I
Yeah.
said hello, and we'll of course see you again in the future. So
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me.
all right, thanks again for doing the first Only Fangs interview. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. It was fun.
All right, and I'll go ahead and end it. Have a good night,
All right.
everybody.
You too.